Okay. So, yep. Okay, thanks, Robert. I understand you haven't got a webcam. That's fine. I'll read out whatever you have to say, or you can just chat away on the mic. So, right. I'm going to get underway here. Right. All right, so let's go back up to here. All right, thank you everyone for coming along to this free webinar on how to help others transmute their karma into their gifts of service with the soul contract reading work. I'm Nicolas Ngan of the Centre for Conscious Ascension, and my aim here is to share how this work can help people transform their biggest karmic challenges, which most of us, even me, even nowadays, having done this work for 30 years, still turn away from on a bad day, or even a good day, so that they can actually move forward in their lives. Most people try really hard to transform their karmic patterns, but because they're so hidden and there's not much consciousness around what they exactly are, it's quite painful to face them. And most people don't have a map, a spiritual map on how to get there, how to actually find out what these things are, how to transform them, and how to create a better life. So most people are silently, or maybe not so silently, suffering life. So the purpose of this webinar is to help identify these core patterns and how to go about transmuting them, so you can help these people deliver their gift of service to the world. And most light workers have this sense in them is a very special gift we have. I had it from a very young age, from the time I can remember. But no one would tell me what it was, not what it was. No one could even answer that question. I found it hard to formulate, but I was looking for that special thing. And I knew that the conventional answers in the 3D world were not answering that at all, school and university and work. So I was searching for this, and the purpose of this work is to show you how you can help others, help other light workers come online so they can deliver that gift, which is the reason they were born in the first place. That's what we're going to talk about today. So I'd like to know why you guys are here, because that will then guide how I present this. This is different every time, so it's your webinar. So if you tell me what you're after, then I can, whether you've read the book, your soul contract decoded, what you need from this, we can flow around that. This is how this works. So anyone can start. You can either send it on chat if you're a bit shy to speak, and that's fine, or switch your microphone on, whistle without a webcam. If you've got a webcam on, just wave at me. Anyone can start. So we're actually setting intention for the webinar now. Okay, so ask away whatever you want, and what you'd like from us, and then we'll flow into the webinar based on what you actually say. Okay. Emma, you seem keen.
No, I'm not.
Better write this down.
I have done a sort of oracle kind of with Ariella Indigo. I don't know. She did a quick with this soul purpose star. It went so quick. So and you have to do the readings like very quick. And and then I found you, and I found you were like more, let it integrate, you know. What is my question? I think, I don't know what it is, what keeps me from not giving readings. I want, you know, just reading the books. Anyone can read the books about the codes, you know. If I see the code, you can, here is the book, and you can read it yourself. So how do I get it? I want to, you know, that it just comes out of the star, you know. I'm reading and I'm reading and I'm reading, but I'm still stuck in a way. And my challenge is 6666. So maybe something.
Is that in both karmic positions, is it?
Yeah, both.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any threes anywhere?
In my name now, in my Emma Holstein, there's like 9 threes.
Ah, okay.
But not in my birth name.
What's the birth name we need to look at as well? Is Emma Holstein, is that a current name or married name or?
Current name from when I was 12, yeah.
Okay.
My birth name is Emma Magdalena Johansson.
Okay. Where are you from?
Sweden.
Sweden, okay.
But I live in Holland.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, maybe you can see it, I don't know.
Yeah, we might be able to see that later. We'll see how we go.
But I'm Emma, and I'm reading your book at this moment, and I'm just trying to integrate. I just have a pause now a little bit to let it integrate, and then I'll start again.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Who else would like to share why they're here? Hang on, Deb. Phantom to all panelists. You can't hear. Let me just see, Deb, what's going on from the admin side here. Let me just find you. It shows you've got sound at this end. You need to check on there's a microphone button on the bottom left. It's a little chevron, Deb. If you click on that chevron, it'll show you select a speaker. Okay, so you might want to see what speakers are available. Try that. Okay, there should be a choice there. Try different ones and see if you can hear us. Okay. All right, and just let me know. Just type in the chat. Okay. Delta, tell me why you're here. Yeah. You have to unmute. You have to unmute.
Oh, I have.
If you can mute Emma, because otherwise we'll get. Delta, is the unmute working? Yeah, still can't hear you. Do you want to tell me why you're here, Delta? So just to share, do you want to unmute?
Yeah, well, you know, the title was intriguing, and I just thought maybe, you know, I could hear something that I hadn't heard before, but I'm here because, yeah, I just want to learn more. Why am I here? Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the course, and you know, I didn't know if you would touch on something different since I haven't gone on to the second part yet. So I don't know. I don't know really what to...
I think you'll learn a bit of marketing here, Delta.
What's that?
You'll learn some marketing of the work, which will help you.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay. All right. I've got a message. Hang on. Deb Phantom. Just gonna I'll change to. She can't hear me. Just gonna message Deb. Okay. Go to the mic. And if anyone drops out, just log in again, because sometimes the network goes unstable. I just realised she couldn't hear my instructions before. Just trying to get her sound going. Okay. Valerie, do you want to share why you're here?
For me, I think it's just understanding a little bit more about some of the numbers and the patterns between the numbers. I read your book a while ago, and I worked out my numbers on the book and translated those, but it's just understanding a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
And then how I apply that to my current context, which how make it easier to apply that into my current situation.
Okay. All right, I can do that. I just realised I messaged Deb. Sorry, Delta. That wasn't meant for you. Okay, let's go to Metrics Deep. I picked the wrong person there on the selection here. Okay, so do you want to be a little guinea pig, Valerie? We could look at your chart later.
Yeah, happy to.
Yeah, and bare your soul to everyone, to the world. Okay, Emma, it's a bit tricky for you to be a guinea pig because you've got a Swedish name and that will take me a while to work out the correct equivalent English to match your name because you may not have the right chart. Okay. Yeah.
You mean me? I've got a mine. Oh, I am British, but my husband.
No. I'm talking about Emma there.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Valerie, your chart will be easy because you're English.
Yeah.
Emma, your chart may not be correct because of the Swedish sounds in the first place. Okay. Just so that may be one of the issues that you're facing there. Okay. Now, does anyone else want to share why they're here, either on the chat or just switching on the microphone? Okay. Because it sets the energy. Because it's your webinar here. Don't have to, you don't want, there's no pressure there. You can sort of sit silent in the background, it's fine as well. No one else? Hang on, do you want to write it to me? Oh yeah, Jazdeep. I feel I have, Jazdeep can't speak because she's in the library. She said, I feel I have people who look at me to help them with their direction and want to feel more confident in my answers. I understand the numbers are an integral part of it, so I want to know how to just decode. I want to know how to decode to universal language. Can you define decode to universal language, Jazdeep? A little more what you mean by that. It will help. Okay, anyone else while Jazdeep works in using the numbers? Okay. I hear Robert Kelly. I'm here merely out of curiosity to learn more about the process. I was skeptical about numerological systems in general, but I read your book, followed the instructions to reveal my soul contract, and found it stunningly accurate, particularly in terms of the karmic issues that I'm facing. I'm still not quite sure how it works, so I'm hoping to learn more and perhaps introduce it to others. Thanks, Robert. Yeah. Jazdeep. What's the details of the book? The book is Your Soul Contract Decoded. Okay, put it on there. You can find it on Amazon. Yeah. The book is a variation on the teaching manual we use for level 1. Some of the more controversial things taken out, which can't really be put in a book publicly. That's what the book is about. Let's have a look. Anyone else want to have to say before I move into the rest of the presentation? No, quiet. Okay, we'll start. And feel free to ask questions at any time as we go through this. Okay, this is your webinar. So now I found out why some of you are here. On the webcams will go to the right, and you can just drag them around, and if there's multiple people turn up, you can just scroll down with little chevrons by rolling your mouse at the bottom or the top so you can see different people. Okay. So some of you guys are sort of hitting the stuff pretty much for the first time. Some are very experienced with this. So I have to cover a bit of everything here. So our karmic patterns contain our spiritual gift of service. They actually contain the answer to the question of why am I here? All right. And it's usually the last place you'd expect to find that. But what happens in life is the soul puts in place our karma, and we tend to take a dislike to it immediately. Well, I did anyway. Mine's all about feeling unworthy and feeling disempowered. 3s and 9s for those of you familiar with the book. And by the law of attraction, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. If you're not, that's basically your feelings and thoughts, which are usually mostly unconscious, create your reality in each moment. And the reality, or the matrix, if you watch the movie, rearranges around your soul contract in each and every moment. And if you understand what your soul contract is, the program behind the law of attraction, then you can go and do something about it. You can go and change your life. I went from feeling, with a karmic 9 for you to understand those, from feeling very disempowered and like a victim most of my life, to coming back into my power and also being very shy, to actually now running a global teaching business on Zoom with this work and with other healing modalities and consciousness raising modalities. And I walked into a hotel room in 1990 and met Frank Alper, who was the creator of this work. He channeled this work in the 80s in Phoenix, Arizona. And he took out a Star of David, took out one of these. He asked for my birth name, birth certificate name. And in that hour, he changed my life radically. He explained my entire life. He explained everything that I will be doing now in terms of being a writer and a teacher and a healer. And this is a gift that I'm doing my best to share with as many people as possible. And so I was so inspired by that. I was completely changed because all the disparate experiences in my life, which seemed random, were put in place. They were put in context. And I could see there was a reason for everything. Okay. And so I said, well, Frank, can I learn this? This is amazing. So he said, well, we're teaching this in 6 weeks. So I stayed on in America for 6 weeks because I was doing what we call in New Zealand the overseas expedition. I was traveling around the world. And so I learnt it in March in 1990. Then I brought it to England for the first time. And Frank called it the spiritual numerology of Moses. And I wanted to differentiate it from numerology because this is completely different to conventional numerology, if some of you are familiar with this. In this system, Hebrew numbers and sounds are the same energy. There's no allocation of numbers to the alphabet, the Roman alphabet. That's the main difference, and it runs at a very high level of truth because Hebrew is one of the sacred languages that come out of the movement of a great spiritual God. Using the flower of life here. This is the movement of God creating creation. So I changed it to soul contract reading because it was all about the soul and was reading about the soul to differentiate it and to make it more accessible to people. And then I started teaching this in 1994 and then in the UK, and then started teaching the first teachers, which is in about 2003. So this is how it got to Europe, this work. Okay. So you might maybe wondering, where the source is. Well, you're looking at it, okay, where it comes from. Doesn't mean I'm always acknowledged for all that, though, unfortunately. So what happens? Well, Frank's really the source, but he passed on in 2007, and my mission is to maintain the transmission of this work as close as possible to the way he transmitted it at a very high level, but in accessible English in this case. Okay, because it was very, very esoteric when he transmitted it to us. Okay, so there's about 50 man years of work goes into this in terms of the way it's presented now. So that's sort of a bit of a history of how it came about. And so we have the law of attraction, which creates all our lovely karmic stuff, which we don't like. Okay. And there's also the law of opposites. This is the one they didn't tell you about in the movie, The Secret. But basically, you get everything you don't like at first. So once you find out everything you don't like I was bullied at school and was very shy and sort of stuff like that, then you get really clear what you do want. This is how spirit works. But most people get very stuck in that, and they stay. I could have stayed stuck being a victim, could have stayed stuck being shy. Okay, could have done that. Once I understood what was going on here, then I realized that I need to actually bring consciousness to my karmic programs and transform them. And as I started doing that, which was challenging and painful emotionally at times, the gifts of the karmic patterns started to reveal themselves. And I realized, this is my purpose. I'm finding my purpose here. It's in my karmic patterns. So my purpose came out of feeling unworthy to be loved, starting to heal that and becoming worthy to be loved, and worthy to show myself, worthy to teach, to communicate the wisdom in my soul. And also what came out of that was moving from feeling very disempowered to actually gradually coming back my power, and coming into my power, then catalyzing others with that power to awaken. That was the other gift that came out of this. So I turned into my karma to claim my gift of service, which I'm still doing today. And that's actually the key to a better life for your souls and for everyone you work with this sort of thing. So it's a paradox, really. The very thing which you're looking for is right in front of your nose in the karmic pattern. Last place we would normally look, because we're trying to, the ego wants to avoid any form of emotional pain. So, learning this work, if you're drawn to it, is the answer to search at all light workers have. What's my purpose? God sends millions of light workers, but only very few will actually manage to wake up enough and get a handle on their karmic patterns and transform them so they can bring their mission online. But it's a numbers game. So what this work allows you to do, if you get into this, if you're interested in this, training in this, is basically to take spiritual seekers, the 2 or 3% of the population who really want to get on with their mission, to use the sounds hidden in their name to actually decode their blueprint of life, so they can actually consciously overcome their karma, express their talents, achieve their goals, and actually manifest their soul life purpose. Not many people manage to do that. If you notice people who are not spiritual seekers, people who are not on the spiritual path, once they get middle-aged or older, people tend to really wear out because the karmic patterns are basically really get heavier and heavier. They're basically knocking them out, really. And if you notice spiritual people who do their work, they tend to start looking younger because they're releasing their karmic load. So this is about helping the latter, okay, who want to wake up and help others in the process. So how does it actually work for some people who are not so familiar with it? So some of you will be familiar with this, but basically we use the Star of David, and we take the sounds of someone's name and we decode it. Take the Hebrew sounds, we decode it on this star. And the star has briefly 2 triangles, a large downward pointing physical triangle. So this is about the creation of each lifetime. So the soul is eternal, but each lifetime we create a new conscious personality expression. We create an avatar, which is an experiment in consciousness, which is defined by the soul contract. And the physical triangle determines how we will embody and create our interface with the physical world. And then that's our personality, which is brand new each lifetime. So none of us have ever existed before. Our soul has with other personalities, but this time around we're all brand new. And the soul sets us in motion and wants to see what we'll do about it. And it puts in place specific patterns, karmic, talent, and goal patterns are put in place, and it wants to, and that they're an increment. They're a next step based on its previous lifetimes, to see what will we learn from this, and therefore what will the soul learn. And between the ages of 35 and 42, which is the 6th cycle of life, or earlier, or sometimes later, the spiritual triangle comes online. And this is called the midlife crisis or the spiritual awakening. It's where we look at our lives and say, I was 37 sitting in the city of London in a glass box in a suit thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. This doesn't interest me at all anymore. And soul switches on this need to find our real purpose. And that's when people leave jobs, relationships. They really look for the purpose, and it becomes all-encompassing. And so this is actually our mission. Starts to come online, and the soul hopes that it'll build upon that based on a good grounded physical triangle there. And within each of these triangles, these 3 aspects, we have karma, talents, and goals. And we've spoken a lot about the karma. It's a set of unresolved past life issues we bring in, and we overcome it with the physical talents here, which are latent, if they're a good match. And as the talents get stronger, it helps us get to the physical goals. This gets us to the things which really excite us about life. What gets us out of bed in the morning? So the energy flows from physical karma to physical talents to physical goals, with a physical outer world orientation. And then really getting to the meat of it, the spiritual karma is the gateway to opening to higher consciousness to bring your real spiritual gift to earth. And the spiritual talents helps you overcome that if it's a good match. And then that helps you move towards the spiritual goals if it's if this thing fully activates. So again, you're moving from spiritual karma to spiritual talents to spiritual goals. And if you're conscious of what's going on here, you work through all of these here, then what starts to happen is your soul destiny, your life purpose starts to manifest. And it's revealed to you layer by layer. So what happens over time, if you're working on a conscious path, this is time this way, this is percentage complete, you start to work through these patterns, and because if you're conscious of what your soul contract is, then you're going to not waste time doing things which don't matter or won't work. You're going to focus on actually burning through this in a way that's the most efficient way. And so life starts to become a lot more fulfilling and aligned, okay, by doing this. All right, so Valerie, would you like to be our guinea pig now? Do you want to switch on the mic?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So this is the web-based software we use for the work. So I need your birth, can you spell out your current name fully, Valerie?
I have my numbers anywhere that I did, but I can give it to you as well again.
Yeah, well, I want to show the chart, you see.
Okay, no problems.
So,
Okay, current name Valerie Arbel, ABL. Just
where's Albel from?
ABL, just 3 letters.
Where's that from?
That's it, ABL, that's correct.
Is it English or something else?
Pardon?
Is it an English name or something else?
It's Austrian. Oh, do you want my birth name?
Yeah, I need the birth. We'll do the birth name as well. So what's the birth name?
The birth name is Valerie Lee, L-E-E.
No middle name?
I don't have one.
Okay. I won't put your birth date down because it's going to be a public video. We put your star sign. What's your star sign?
Taurus.
Taurus. Let's find Taurus. Okay. You give me verbal consent. Which I need to put in. If you want to play with the software, it's called soulcontractreader.com if you want to play with the software. Okay. I'll post this stuff later, okay, on the YouTube video. So you can get access to these links. Just taking over that. So put the consent date, we'll call it Karma Talents and Goals. We just go, okay. So I've entered all your data.
Do you want my date of birth?
No, it's a public video, so I don't want to disclose your date of birth to maintain your privacy, Valerie. Okay, so we click on chart, and I'll show you how the name's generated. So what we've done here is that we have taken Valerie's name, and then we've matched it. We use 22 sounds of ancient Hebrew here, and we match them to Valerie's name. This is, for example, Vuv, Aleph, Lamed. Okay, there's a whole bunch of them here. And within those 22 Hebrew sounds, there are numbers inherent within the Hebrew. That's what we're going to analyze on the Star of David. I'm just keeping this sort of brief here. So we allocate these numbers starting at physical karma. We go around the Star of David like this. Okay, if you guys can just go on mute, unless it's Valerie, otherwise I'm going to hear the talking. Get the background noise. We go around the Star of David till we use up all the numbers in a clockwise spiral. We add the numbers up. So in physical karma, 6 plus 5 equals 11. So we have one aspect of this is an 11. And there's another aspect here. We get that by go 1 plus 1 equals 2. So there are channel interpretations that came through Frank Alper. That came from the soul of Moses, who channeled the system to him in the 80s over 9 months. And there's a pure interpretation for an 11, a pure interpretation for a 2, Valerie. Plus, at any given moment, you're going to have some blend of those 2 interpretations, which is like hot and cold taps in the shower. Okay. So there's a whole range. This is called a combination number, sorry. There's a whole range of them. Okay, and we work out all your other numbers accordingly, all right? And you've got all of them a combination letter. Sometimes you might have just the same number. If it was a 9, you get another 9. In this case, you've got a whole range of different numbers here. Then what we do, having calculated that, is we take the physical numbers, place them on the top half of the Star of David, sorry, the table. spiritual numbers, place them on the bottom half. And then we add them up, the two columns here. You get 81 and 18. So we reduce them to the first numbers below 22. So 8 plus 1 is 9. 1 plus 8 is 9. So your soul destiny is 9. 9 goes in the middle. Sorry. And then all these channel symbols came through Frank. This was a second set of symbols. And they are like portals. For those of you who are pretty sensitive, which is probably most of you, you better feel these energies coming off this. And I'm basically going to give Valerie a very brief reading so that you and the other guys watching this get to feel how the system works. So Valerie, what's your main question about your life that you want answered? And then I can do a very brief reading here.
Well, the translation really of the 9 number, the soul destiny.
Yeah. You want to know what that means?
Yeah, I mean, I think I know what it means, but I'm just trying to, I'd like a more in-depth understanding of what that means. Yeah, and how maybe it links to also questions of, you said there's some link to numerology, and also, is there a link also to the gene keys? Have you come across the gene keys?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the gene keys. Yeah. When you say numerology, which type of numerology do you mean?
Well, just there are certain interpretations of different numbers. That's all I mean. In numerology, a 9 is usually for service. And
okay, you can't try and reconcile this with conventional numerology because these are not the same numbers.
Right. Okay.
These are English Roman numbers that are representing a Hebrew frequency. Okay, 9 is Teth. Teth is all about, because you drive yourself crazy trying to reconcile them. Teth represents a dragon. And so in Soul Destiny, that represents you have to come into the power of the dragon or the serpent. So you need to access all the past life misuse of power and shadow patterns that the soul had with other personalities, and consciously, layer by layer, transform it to positive power, and then to use that positive power to catalyze change in the world. That's the purpose of this life. Okay? So don't think of the numbers with the other understanding you have in numerology, because it will completely confuse you, because it's not the same.
Right.
Okay? So in summary here, your karma here is to find the structure of life, which is sort of what you're asking me now. 11 is about finding the structure of how life works this time. Learning to become emotionally resilient and wise. Okay? And to discern what is your truth. How's that been going, Valerie? Discerning what is your truth and what is not your truth.
Well, it does make sense what you were saying about, I'm always very keen to understand things and go to the bottom of things and the principles of things. And I look at many different models of life and different ways of, different ways of perceiving life. What is my truth? Well, that's where I get confused.
Yeah.
Because I keep looking at all these different things.
Yeah.
And I use them also because my background is I worked as a change consultant, change coach, transition coach in organizations. So I dip into different models and things according to what is needed, what may link to the person that I'm working with.
Okay, so what you're doing is playing with different structures, and the idea is to take on board the structures that resonate with you and build into your own unique structure, and then put the rest that don't resonate in the trash. So you don't take on everything, just take on the stuff that really resonates with you, because you're exploring the structure of how things work. Structure of truth, that's what's going on here.
That's my truth, just exploring how things work.
You're here to build your own unique truth. Okay, that resonates with you. And you're learning to make wise decisions here. This is wisdom and foolishness. So the karmic pattern is to learn to find your own truth, take out all the stuff that's not true that you've malabsorbed, and to take out the karmic load that you're processing from your parents and your ancestors as well. A lot of that will be in here because as a child you would have malabsorbed everything probably. Okay, sound familiar? Is that a yes? That was a yes. Can you hear me, Valerie?
Pardon? Yeah.
Yeah, you just keep talking to me because you're very small on the screen. I can't always see you.
Oh, sorry. The other one that it's interesting. You've got spiritual talents 10-1 and spiritual goals 10-1. So and the spiritual karma is interesting. The 13-4, I can recognize the fact that I'm always questioning existing structures and trying to put them into a new form.
This is what this is doing here. Yeah.
And so my work started in looking at organizational structures and the more technical aspects, but then moved more to understanding how human beings evolve within those, and then trying to evolve the structures to accommodate how we work. So I'm always looking for new ways of organizing things that relate more to people. 9's
about organization here. The 17-8 in physical talent. The talent here is for you to emotionally ground in the body and to emotionally relate to everybody with a clear boundary, and to express that relating out in society. So working in the corporate world sort of suits you really here.
Well, I don't work in the corporate world anymore because I'm retired, but
yeah. But when you were, this was about relating to them.
Yeah.
In a grounded sort of way.
That's right.
Yeah, and the physical goal here is a 20, which is great movement. So you were here to learn great movement, to break out of existing belief systems. Was it a strong belief system imposed upon you when you were a child?
Well, I guess there was a lot of conditioning probably from my mother.
Yeah.
About what I should and shouldn't do. And then when I got to a point doing some initial work, I was able to start discerning, not what I should or shouldn't do, but what was conditioning and what was me.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were here to break out of the conditioning from your mother.
Yeah.
Out of rigidity, limiting your movement to test new truths and belief systems, to getting to great movement, to exploring a whole range of experiences in the physical world. Okay. Did you go and do that?
Well, that does reflect what most of my life has been about, probably, and still is, because I'm now looking into community type organizations and how you can create more flow and more collaboration within those types of organizations.
Well, that's the 8. 8 is about grounding in society and creating community.
Mm.
So you're built.
I'm always into the flow, spirals, flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you like to take care of people?
Yes.
The 13 in spiritual karma, your lesson was to learn to take care of people.
Mm.
Okay, unconditionally love them with the divine feminine aspect of God.
Mm.
Was your mother? Were you disconnected from your mother? Her feminine energy? Did she not look after you, or was she bearing or out of balance as a mother?
I think she didn't have a lot of time. She had a lot of her own issues, and there was a lot of things that she was focused on most of the time, which wasn't me. So yeah, and I've worked through a lot of those things, during lots of training courses and developmental courses. So I've sort of gone through blaming my mother for things, but just understanding, like you said, what the karma of that was.
Yeah.
And how it helped me to become stronger in many senses, and become stronger around my emotional about my emotions and recognize those and work through those to become stronger to face some of the karma.
Yeah, the key is to reconnect to the divine feminine as an archetype, because your mother represents the disconnect your ego had from Mother God, and your father represents the disconnect from Father God. This is for everybody. And our primary goal is to reconnect and heal that wound of disconnection. Reconnecting to your mother will bring more of the flow of love of the divine feminine through you to take care of each other. And that's part of the reason you want community as well.
Yes, and collaboration.
Collaboration,
Yeah.
competition, you see.
No, collaboration.
Yeah, yeah. So this is also saying there's a disconnect from your father. The 10 is the 1 is the disconnect from the divine masculine.
Oh.
So what happened there with your dad?
Again, my father had his own issues throughout his life, and was definitely I didn't really see him very much probably when I was younger, but I actually connected back with him probably when he was, when I was a little bit older.
Yeah.
And saw him in a different light. He seemed to be quite weak for a lot of part of my life, and there was a point, when I was in my late teens, when I suddenly saw him in a very different light.
Yeah, so your job there is to reconnect to the divine masculine due to the absence of it. So again, this is the negative context I talked about at the beginning, law of opposites. You always have you always have a program you don't like, but you have to actually transmute it back into the positive aspect. And this would also have been the reason why you worked in the corporate world, to deal with the power, often the misuse of the masculine energy in the corporate world. Okay. And the 10-1 here in spiritual talents is using the spiritual energy, connecting to God consciousness to serve others at a very high level. So you've got Mother God and Father God running in the spiritual part. And then this very powerful chart you've got here, Valerie. And the sum of working through all of these 6 aspects produces the soul destiny. You've got to work through all these consciously to create the soul destiny of coming fully into your power to catalyze change, to really trust your inner gut feeling first and act upon that, and allow the dragon to fly and create positive change in the world, which is why you're here.
That's definitely what I've been feel motivated to do. I guess the frustration is it's kind of challenging at the moment in the current world.
Well, yeah, it is. It's always challenging out there, especially in the current commercial and
well, in the current political
environment. There's a lack of the 10-1, there's a lack of leadership, lack of integrity. Got a lot worse. So you're seeing the reason for this is because we're ascending in consciousness, and so the polarities of people are coming out. So if you're more a positive person, you get better on the positive side. If you're negative, well, the darker negative comes out, which is what you're seeing in the political scene globally. It's the reason for the rise of nationalism and all the extreme stuff going on. People's karma is coming out. If they're not dealing with it, it just gets worse, basically, from what I've seen. So they can't help themselves, remember, with this. So overall, you're here to find the structural truth, really reach out to people with it, be a big, great explorer, connect to the masculine and feminine aspects of God, so you can be of complete service to others and empower them. Yeah, here's your executive summary. It's the reason why you're still here. How does that sound?
Well, it resonates very strongly, I guess, with everything that I do and where my focus tends to be, whether it be the physical. I'm very much interested in physical healing at the moment, which is serving me and also others. But I'm also interested in spiritual healing, so I'm kind of alternate between the two.
Yeah, well, you both really to actually integrate this frequency. So the idea with this work is to consciously work through all your 6 outer aspects, which helps you get to the soul destiny within yourselves and within others if you're interested in using this work. So people have a conscious pathway, the shortest possible pathway to self-realization, to actually bringing online the soul destiny and delivering the gift. And it's also the most fulfilling pathway as well. I used to run a spiritual management consultancy, and we discovered that 87% of people are emotionally disconnected from their work. That was a Gallup poll, which, allowing for the margin of error, is pretty much everyone who works in a normal job, because they're not aligned with and not flowing with the contract where their soul wants to go, because of the nature of the dissonant reality that we live in. So what this work does is this aligns people to delivering their true gift in a much more fulfilling, satisfying life, and so that they get a lot more out of it. It's not about making more money, it's about aligning with what your true path is. This is what this work actually allows you to do. So thanks for sharing there, Valerie.
No problem. Thank you for explaining some of it better.
Anyone got any questions on that, either on the chat or you talk to me, whatever, on that process there? Any points of clarity anyone needs? Okay, Robert's got a question. Go for it. Fire away, Robert. I'll read it out. He's typing away here. A little drink while I wait for that to come through. I'm a little confused about the issue of similarity of names. Would this not imply that all those who have the same name will have the same chart? Yes, they will have the same chart, but they will have different. They'll be born in different places at different times, so it'll be a slightly different experience because of the astrology, the genetics, and the family environment. Basically, yes, they will be following the same theme, Robert. So all the John Smiths in the world, if it was their birth name, would basically have quite a similar sort of life. Okay, so yeah, that is the case there. I see, he says, so it's not just the spelling of the name that there's any determinant of the experience. Yeah, the vibration of the name plus the environmental side of things determines how your life turns out. Okay, it's a whole, and also the karmic loading from the past life issues the soul has chosen to bring on board and implant in your cellular structure. Also depends on your astrology, those of you who know about it, human design, a whole lot of other things matter as well. But basically, you'll probably see similar lives with similar names, similar birth certificate names. Okay. Okay, that clarifies that. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Anyone? Okay. We'll keep going. Okay. So, what this work allows you to do, so if you are some sort of facilitator or therapist working with clients, it gives you the tool to instantly obtain the spiritual map of your clients' lives. So you get an immediate and profound understanding of their issues, and it can accurately guide you through all your work with them. There's no need to guess anything here. What you're trying to do is see what is the potential that's been created by someone's life, okay? And then you're seeing how far someone got. And because it's so accurate, with clients, it builds immediate trust because they know that you know exactly what's going on, which means they will engage with you much faster. And so you can engage your other therapies or workshops or whatever tools you use with them in a very focused way. Mel's asked a good question. So is it possible to do the chart without the birth date? Yes, it is. The only reason for the birth date, Mel, is to find out the age of someone to see how many 7-year cycles they're progressing through. Because someone at, say, 3 cycles at 21 is going to be a completely different place, even with the same chart as someone who's done 10 cycles at 70. And also, you want to know the star sign, that helps as well, but it's not critical. So it's really to understand, excuse me, progression for somebody. Okay. So yes, you can do charts for people who don't have you don't know the birth date, or even they don't know the birth date. So yeah, the cycles of life delta are 7 years. Okay. So as I said at the beginning, the first 5 cycles of 7 up to 35, you focus on the physical transition between 35 and 42 to spiritual, or earlier or later. and then you can work out what happens in each one of the system. So what the self-contract reading work does is it gives you a structure to understand yourself and everyone else in your life, and you learn how to give birth certificate name readings with 5-day training, initial first level, using these 22 letters of Hebrew. And we teach you how to use your channel, how to connect to your guidance team. There's a self-contract reading team with this training. The way we teach this, so we've been doing this 25 years, is that what we do is that we teach experientially by spending the first 3 days giving readings of everyone in the class. And if we can't cover all the 20 numbers with that, we then start using their friends and family. So basically, we talk about what numbers mean, and then we actually give readings of the different aspects of every class member to cover all the 22 numbers. So you get to hear out of the horse's mouth the exact subjective experience. We don't read out of the manual the whole time or anything like that. We say, here's what a 7 does, and here's Emma's 7, and she'll bare her heart and tell us what it's like. Everyone will basically show everything about themselves, and it's a very safe space to do that. So in that way, you receive the physical and emotional transmission from real people, your classmates, to find out what a number means. And what we're doing is that basically we are giving you a complete bodily transmission of the knowledge to awaken it in your DNA, awaken it in your energy fields. So when people receive this, you never forget it. You actually are not learning the work the way we teach it. You become the work. It activates in you. This is how we teach it. It's taken us a long time to work out how to do this, but once we do that, when people go into the practice in the last 2 days, people give really good readings straight out of the box, and they can't believe how good they are. Okay, it's really powerful, I think, isn't it, Delta, from your experience? Yeah. So you
Yes.
become the work. That's what we teach you to do. Do you go on, Delta?
Yes, it's very powerful. I mean, I had been exposed to something else that was really powerful when I found this. It was real similar. Yeah. I mean, a lot. Yes.
Yeah. So after 5 days, you leave being able to give readings because you are channeling it. Basically, it's coming from you get a whole self-contract reading team that comes with you, and we train your mind so you have enough structure, and you become the work enough that it comes through you. So essentially, your higher self and the higher self of the client connect, and their higher self is coming through your higher self to download exactly what that client needs to hear in that stage of their life. So you're part of a whole energetic construct team for awakening people. This is actually how we teach you. Okay.
Yeah, and it's quite moving to do a soul contract for someone, because you can see that it's really hitting things that they inherently know, but they're kind of hidden.
Yeah, the ego will hide everything and will not let it go until you really dig it out, which is what the work does. And because it's pure truth, this work, and has a very powerful structure. So those of you who are familiar with the contracts, it's 5 energy, pure truth, and 11-2 structure of life. When you reveal this much truth to somebody, it basically dismantles their ego, because the ego cannot handle truth at this level of consciousness. So basically it dismantles people's defense mechanisms in a nice way, so they can get to the truth of what's going on and transform it in their lives and create change for the better. So this is the first of 3 transmissions. There's 3 levels of this. But the first transmission with birth names allows you to give very good readings and really help people and integrate it into your existing practice if you're a therapist, or create a new one if you haven't done this before. And we support practitioners through, we have a peer-to-peer Facebook support group. We also do master classes when there's a need as well. So we have a very good, powerful community of people who are very enthusiastic, and a lot of them very experienced at doing this work, to support new practitioners getting up and running. So what happens is that with people who receive readings, is that they get to a place of deep peace because they've heard the truth. I had one of these this afternoon, a woman who was very conflicted. And she said, I know all everything you've said to me at some level, but you just made it real. Now I'm at peace. Now I can get on with my life. She was really happy. She was relieved. And she felt like life was buffeting her around. She was a victim of it. And she realized, I can take charge now. This was a 9 in karma. I can take charge for the first time and do it the way I want to do it. So she was a pretty happy camper after that, once she understood what her chart was doing. No one had ever been able to explain it to her before like that. So it was a good afternoon helping her out. Actually, this morning it was. So what this gift does is that you're showing people where are they on their spiritual map of life, because you can have the Star of David here, but until you actually sit down and engage with your client, like I had to engage with her to find out where actually she was on that, then it's just potential. And that's what we teach you. We teach you how to find out where someone is on that map. And then, most importantly, we help them align to their purpose. From whatever position they're in their life, even though they may feel I'm really stuck, this is actually helping them align to their true purpose. And it touches people at a very deep level in their inner being. There's a lot of trust, and they can go much deeper into their work. And you open to yourself as well, because sharing this truth is a real privilege. I've been doing this 30 odd years, and it's still amazing to give readings. Never a dull moment with this. So it's not just a sort of a divination reading, it's an awakening. You're giving someone the gift of their life. You're giving them the gift of getting on with why they came to Earth. So it's a real privilege to do this sort of work. So what comes out of the training, because it's purely experiential, is that you'll be receiving the transmission for 3 days of what the numbers mean, being taught how to hold space and deliver readings in the group. You do at least 2 readings, giving and receiving readings in depth, so you can actually go out and start doing the stuff for the workshop. But you've obviously got to study and practice with the stuff to actually do that. Okay, so yeah, we're sort of sharing with you a powerful gift of awakening for spiritual seekers here. All right. Any questions, anybody? Okay, about that. So I'm just trying to summarize what this can do. Anyone got any questions? Or is that going to be really simple for me today? Emma, got any questions? I think for you, Emma, we need to probably do a one-on-one session to actually address your issue, because of the Swedish. It'll take too long. We can't really do it online live.
No, I know. But
Yeah.
My question for this session, you just told me in this how you are learning it to people, just giving the depth, and channeling it. That's what I was looking for, actually. So
yeah, you get a very deep, profound transmission of this work,
and like experience it, doing it. Then it can flow. Now it's less text. I'm not taking but that you are learning there.
Yeah, you will become the work. You won't be learning it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I cannot do it yet, because I just want to be it, as you say.
Yeah, it's about becoming it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I'm glad you said it, because now that makes sense for me.
Yeah. What happens is that there are 3 levels of this work. There's the birth reading course, which is level 1. Yeah. Where the aim of that is that you can actually come out of that after some practice giving readings, so that you know the difference between the 22 numbers. Just by, you can just talk about it. You know the difference. Yeah. The second level is about overlays, your names and other people. It's about the hidden dynamics of relationships. It's the second transmission. And the third transmission is where we use it for business names. Yeah. The third level of activation, where we use it to optimize legal, trading, business product, website names to maximize the attraction of the correct niche of people for your business and for your business of your clients. But the most important thing is that after the third transmission, most practitioners say, I don't need the manual anymore. No. They just channel it, because the 3 transmissions, it's a magic universal number. Once you get 3, you really are it. Yeah. And then you can look at a chart and just channel, and it all comes out.
That's exactly what I'm like. I know it can happen, but I'm not there yet. You know, I'm
Yeah.
blocking.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
probably in your chart as well, but that's how we structure it. You can give really good readings just from the first transmission. Some people, one person in the last training, she was actually channeling it without the manual on the second practice.
Yeah.
She did it because so the thing accelerates, but that's actually what we're aiming for. You become it. The manual will support you after a while. You don't even need that.
No, exactly. No.
Okay. This is how the stuff works. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Robert, you have a couple of questions, so far away. First question is, first, can the system be adapted for Chinese names? And second, okay, so the system is based on a English, written English as it's pronounced, to Hebrew translation matrix. But we teach an advanced course called a phonetics course, which enables you to go from Swedish or Chinese, Cantonese, Mandarin, pretty much any language, to written English as it's pronounced, okay, then to Hebrew. But you can't learn that until you've got a good grip on what the 22 numbers mean. You have to be doing English only names for a while. But we do teach that. We teach it once a year, but you can actually access the videos of the past two trainings. I'll put a link up for that. So we spend a long time trying to understand how that works. But we have a video training available, so you can buy the video training. I think it's £194 or something. But when the physical training comes along, you just pay the difference, another 50 odd quid, and you can come on the physical training as well, where I teach about 20, 25 languages. And you bring your real clients along, and we do their names, and I show you through repetition, through repeated transmission. There's a particular structure and methodology. Once you've got that, you can pretty much do any language, but it just takes lots of practice. So that's how we handle Chinese, Robert. Or European languages plus non-European languages. Okay. And then the other question is, you said, and secondly, you mentioned that there were things you didn't include in the book because they were controversial. Can you outline what they specifically were? There's some severe karmic patterns which can lead to people being severely emotionally and mentally disturbed, which we don't put in the book because you can't really put that in the public arena. Okay, but we talk about them in the training. Right, there are certain tendencies, people are particularly destructive, okay, which are in the interpretations. I left a few of them out simply because I didn't want to put in the book something which would create a suggestion to someone which could send them off the edge, which is being irresponsible as an author. Okay, the only time you reveal some of these really heavy-duty karmic patterns is when you're actually working with somebody and they're ready to hear it. That's what we took out of the book. Well, there's specific things like suicidal tendencies, Robert. You certainly don't want to suggest that to somebody, especially if they're on the edge. Other things like specific configurations for people with psychopaths or specific mental illnesses. You don't want to put that in the book either. Because someone may think, I've got that configuration, therefore I must have it. Well, they may not, but you don't want to trigger something like that either, especially if they're mentally unstable. It's not a good idea. So it's just about being responsible, really. So some things have been left out. Most of it's in there. Most of it's in there. Okay. Any other questions, anybody? Either verbally or on the messaging? Delta.
You know, I do, because now you're talking about Chinese or Swedish or whatever. Now, you know, what if somebody is Swedish, but they, you know, their parents were here, they named their child, but the child never really uses the Swedish, you know, sounds. I mean, how do you, when do you draw the line of a Swedish name that can be used as an English name and vice versa?
Well, that's what we teach in the training. It's primary parental naming intention, and where they.
I see.
So it's quite a lot to it. That's primary parental naming intention, and where they first, second, third generation immigrants, especially in America where you are. Okay, do they speak with a southern accent and you live down south? So there's a whole bunch of things you got to consider. It's a bit of a detective game, but I teach how to do all that. Okay. And the guys get it. Everyone pretty much gets it. after 2 days of immersion in this stuff.
Yeah. So, but when I'm doing a sole contract, I mean, how will I know? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, because I'm so new, how will I know when I can't do one?
Well, if it sounds like a non-English name, like it's, you know, a German name or a French name, okay, or it's French Canadian, then it definitely doesn't sound like English. Then you need to do the phonetics, because it won't work as it's written. It won't be as accurate.
Interesting.
There's a whole, it's the most complex part of the work, but we've found a way to teach it. And most people with a bit of practice get it. Because most sole contract practitioners are pretty smart people. They have 11 2s and 5s. They're people drawn to this structure and truth. Most people get it. And then once they've got it, they're underway. So.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. All right. One more thing to say, there's no more questions. Okay. All right. So if you do have any further questions, just email me. You've got my email address from the webinar. But if you're interested, if you're drawn to this stuff, we don't do a hard sell here. We just sort of just share it. If you're interested, you're drawn to it. We run the training a couple of times a year. And especially, we do it in spring. This is the one in spring. This is over 2 weekends, because lots of my American clients say, can you make it over 2 weekends, Nicolas, because I don't have much time off work. So we did this time. The reason there's a gap here is because Friday the 20th, I've got a friend's wedding to go to. So basically, it's over 2 weekends on Zoom like this. It runs 12:30 to 8:30 UK time, 7:30 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. A bit early from California, but it's better than flying. Used to be 2 o'clock in the morning people got up. And if you're interested, just go to solecontractreadingtraining.com to find out more. And you can pay your deposit here at that site. It's £229, about $300. Might be a bit better because of Brexit. And the total cost is about $800 US and about £616. And so this is like equivalent to about 3 or 4 readings. Okay, maybe 4 or 5 if you're just starting. So it pays for itself pretty quick. And then you have a tool which can really help people enormously transform their life. Okay, so that's what we offer. So we only do this 2-weekend format once a year. The next one, probably in autumn, will be a 5-day straight workshop. So if you're limited by work, we put this one in at least once a year if we can manage it. Okay. Any final questions?
Just one quick question. You know, the software that you demonstrated at the beginning, is that only available then to people who've taken the training course?
Anyone can use the software.
That's for your website, is it?
It was designed for the book, especially here. Let me just share it again. Okay. All right. So the website here is solecontractreader.com. I'll post it on the Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically what you can do with this thing here is that you get I think 4 free names you can generate charts for, but basically it's designed for practitioners and book readers primarily. And if you're just starting off with a book, there's a page you can buy 8 charts for £6, 22 for £13, 76 for £33. Basically, you can buy them and it's page you go. It never expires. You use it as, if you just do a few charts. Most people do this. If you're a practitioner, people pay a monthly fee. They get 76 for £22.30. This will be in your own currency if you're outside England. And it's about 30 quid. You can do as many as you like. Okay, so we designed it so pretty much everyone could use it if they wanted it. Okay. There'll be a new version coming out, an upgraded version early next year, where we're actually going to start offering online text-based readings. Some people said to me from the book, I love the book, Nicolas, but I'll try to do the charts for my family, and I really don't want to have to go through and figure it all out by myself. Can I just press a button and give me all the interpretation? So that's what we're doing now. we're going to make that available as well if people want that for a small fee. Okay, so yeah, I'll put that up on the YouTube channel so you can actually have a play with it. Okay. Anyone else got any questions, or we're pretty much done? So sounds like, yeah. So I will email out the YouTube video to you guys in a couple of days' time, which I processed it. Okay. All right. All right. So thank you, everybody. And if you want some help with your name, just email me and we can sort something out there. Okay.
Thank you very much.
There'll be a way forward. All right. Thanks, everybody, and thanks to everyone who watches this later, because a lot of people watch this later on. Okay. Bye.
Bye.